It's game number 2 of the 2018 Colonial Athletic Association Softball Championship Tournament, live from Harrisonburg, Virginia, and Veterans Memorial Park on the campus of James Madison University. A very pleasant good afternoon, everyone. I'm Curt Dudley, joined today for games 2 and 3, actually, of today's ball games by Bri Leach, as we have the number 2 Hofstra Pride battling up against the number 3 Tigers of Towson University. One game already in the books that saw the number 5 seed College of Charleston knock off the number 4 seed UNCW 8-6. So the College of Charleston plays after this game again against number 1 seed James Madison. UNCW faces the loser of this ball game here tonight at 6:30 in the first elimination game of this 5-team double elimination tournament. Well, Bree, the College of Charleston UNCW just played this past weekend. UNCW swept the Cougars. That got them from number 6 to number 4 to make the tournament, but a little payback by the Cougars earlier today. These two teams also played most recently this weekend. The Tigers took 1, the Pride gathered 2.
That's right, the Tigers took away the opener of last weekend's series 4-3 over Hofstra, and then Hofstra came back. They won 12-0, run-ruled the Towson Tigers in game 2 and beat them 4-2 in the last game. For the Hofstra Pride, their seniors really helped them out. Caitlin Musa, Stephanie Edwards, Brittany Alaka, Courtney Scarpato, and Kristen Hallam. They combined for 22 of 25 Hofstra's hits. So some huge offensive power on Hofstra's side, but also over the seniors on Towson's side as well. Really with some a great weekend. Miko had a pair of 2-run home runs. One in Friday's opening game, another in Saturday's regular season finale, and Stryker had a 2-run home run in Friday's game to give them the 4-3 victory over the Hofstra Pride. So a lot of things to look forward to and a lot of seniors to keep your eye on, especially the top 4 or 5 batters in both of these lineups who had really strong weekends last weekend.
This is the 91st meeting all time between the two programs, and Hofstra, well, they have controlled the program for the most part. They have won 7 out of every 9. That's right. They are 70-20 all time against this team from the Towson Tigers. Tigers 40-15, got off to a rip-roaring start this year at 19-3. Hofstra coming in at 37-12. We're going to get right underway into the thick of things here today as Kendall Scott, a senior from the center field, leads off today's ball game with a .472 average, and the first pitch in there for a called strike by Trescott. Alex Leap calling the field at first base, and Alan Riggs down the third base line. Scott again, 8 home runs, 47 runs driven in for her club this season. And that ball is well hit in the gap in left center field. It's going to get down off the base of the wall. Digging for second, sliding in safely ahead of the throw is Scott, and it's a leadoff double for this slugging Towson Tiger team.
And if you're Towson, that's exactly who you want starting things off is Scott. Scott went 0 for 9 last weekend, but that is her 85th hit. It's good for second in the NCAA this season.
22nd double of the year. So in business are the Tigers against Sarah Cornell. Cornell at .224, the ERA, 22-7 this season, and she's making her 36th start here this year, 38th overall appearance. Cornell delivers, and it's ball high for ball 1. Cornell working with her battery mate, Caitlin Musa. Then it is Brittany Alaka at first base. The second baseman is Michaela Transu. The shortstop, Kristen Hallam. And at third base, Megan Paterno. 2 balls and no strikes. Out in the outfield for the Pride of Hofstra. In left, we find Nikki Michalowski. In center field, Courtney Scarpato. And the right fielder is Brielle Petrofessa.
Sarah Cornell in there at pitcher. She was just named Pitcher of the Year for the CAA this year, going with her 22-7 record, 225 strikeouts to just 60 walks. She's really been a force for this Hofstra Pride team.
Wilson at 2-0. And that is high for ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. And that's in there for a called strike. Cornell, 225 strikeouts this season. That leads the Colonial. 60 walks this year in the opposition, hitting 190 against this sophomore. Here's the payoff, and it's in for a strike. Actually, that's the fifth pitch of the at-bat, so 3 balls and 2 strikes. It is Scott and Wilson. Then we'll see Daria Edwards, Brooke Miko, Nicole Stockinger, Shelby Strocker, Kendall Arcia, Kaylin Minity, and Riley Thies, the lineup offensively for the Tigers of Towson.
Madison Wilson, she went 1 for 8 last weekend against the Hofstra Pride. She did walk 1 time. She is 29th in doubles, nationally. She has 16. A sophomore from Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Drives that foul from Lansdowne, I believe. No, yeah, Lansdowne High School. There's a look at Coach Lisa Costello in her 23rd season as the Tigers director. Again, starting off like none other before, 19-3. Ground ball hit to Paterno at third base. And there's one away, the runner holding at second.
Now batting the second baseman, number 23,
Daria Edwards, also a senior. As Bri mentioned, a lot of seniors in this lineup. 304, 4 home runs, and 32 runs driven in thus far this season. Now she'll step in from the right side. Edwards out of Horsham, Pennsylvania. Takes the first pitch inside for ball 1. 4 games today, 3 tomorrow, 1, maybe 2 if necessary on Friday to determine this year's tournament champion. James Madison, the regular season and reigning champs. Sitting back is the number 1 seed. Here's the 1-2 popped up. That's back into the stands. Back out of play. 1-1. A lot of energy kind of bubbling up from the field here at Veterans Memorial Park on a wonderful afternoon for softball. We've got good breezes blowing to keep the fans nice and comfortable. Great sunshine, little patchy clouds here and there, but just adding to the beauty of the day. Here's the 1-1. That gets away from the catcher, and on her way to third base is Scott. They'll make it 2 balls and 1 strike to Edwards. Towson, interesting note, the Tigers 10-0 when playing on neutral fields. And much of that, of course, during the early portion, February and March, when a lot of tournaments are played. At high again, 3-1. I don't know if she's overjacked or what the situation is, but a couple of high pitches for Cornell, and that's going to create a conversation. Larissa Anderson coming out.
It is tournament time, though. Coming into the tournament, your nerves could be high, especially first game, double elimination. You know, Hofstra coming out, having to pitch first. Her nerves just could be a little riled up. Give her a little time to calm down a little bit. It is only the top of the first.
And there's Coach A, 4th season as the Pride head coach, taking over for the legendary Bill Edwards. You go back and look at this Hofstra history, and it is just outstanding throughout the years.
Until recently, with JMU came in winning some conference titles. Hofstra had won 23 out of 26 of the previous.
Here's a wild pitch once again, and scoring on the wild pitch, the first run of the ball game. Kendall Scott comes in as she'll cross the plate for the 49th time this season. So she sets the table, as you mentioned, Bri, with the leadoff double, scoring on the wild pitch, and it is a 1-0 Towson lead.
I was going to say, the top of these lineups, they're so hard to get through, and you can see it now. Towson's already got 2 runners on, only 1 out, and they've already, 1 runner on, already scored 1 run, and only 1 out here, and they're just at their 4th batter.
Brooke Miko, another senior, batting a hefty .426 on the year, a dozen home runs. Here you got the power coming up next with Miko, 12 home runs, and Stockinger with a baker's dozen. 72 RBIs from Brooke Miko, a whopping number. And she takes a whopping cut and misses for strike one. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, Miko, she actually leads the nation with those 72 RBIs and averages 1.3 RBIs per game. So if she gets a hit here, she could work her way up to that average already just in the first inning.
Comes across the country from California. She sends that high into the sky. Left fielder Michalowski will settle underneath and makes the put away. So there are 2 away in the first. The Tigers leading it 1-0. So 2 down for Nicole Stockinger. Stockinger, another hefty average, 349, 13 home runs, 52 runs driven in.
Stockinger, a second-team All-CAA candidate this year, 2-time Player of the Week.
Right-hander will look at the first pitch, and it's in there for a called strike.
Last weekend against the Pride, Stockinger, she went 1 for 6, getting walked 2 times in that series.
Tigers making a return visit to the CAA tournament. Missed the field last year. There's a ball, 1 ball and 1 strike. Last time they were in the tournament, 2016, they beat Charleston 7-3, lost to James Madison 14-2, beat Charleston 12-1, then lost to JMU again 8-0 in the championship game. Fouled back out of play. And of course, all these seniors for the Tigers were sophomores that year. And Bri, the way this tournament, it's already kind of played out a little bit in the way that I've handicapped it, is it's difficult to handicap because every one of these teams, there's a bouncer into the dirt, have the capability of upsetting the apple cart of the other. I mean, let's take a look. Madison 19-2, the 2 losses for the Dukes to the number 4 and 5 seed.
Yeah, if you're James Madison, I don't know who you really wanted to play because you had 1 loss to each. Your only losses all of conference play. And so definitely a really strong field this year, and Towson and Hofstra ranked top 2 in all the statistical categories. A really great field. So
Cornell gets her first strikeout of the day, but it comes a little late after she lost some control, allowing Scott to run home with the wild pitch run. It is 1-0 after 1/2 inning of play. Towson leading Hofstra. The Bride coming to the plate, trailing 1-0 here on CAA.TV.
Towson 1, Hofstra coming to that. Under Armour is proud to
Yale to play lacrosse, and I was committed to Towson. So I was thinking to myself, why would Matt go to Yale if he had a chance to go to Towson? Our family's very tight, so Greg's like, yo, let's sell some salad dressing. I'm like, all right. And Matt's like, all right.
But I do think our experiences in college made us who we are today.
Yeah, we're official sponsors of Towson Athletics now.
That's right. Distinguished
sponsors. He was committed to Yale to play lacrosse.
Seek, shape, and discover your own educational and career path at Hofstra University, where dedicated faculty help you pursue your passions in a dynamic learning environment. From tailored programs in small class settings to exciting internship and networking opportunities in nearby Manhattan. Participate in a service project that gives back to the community while building leadership skills. Conduct research in one of our innovative labs, or intern with top-tier companies in finance or media. No matter your journey, Hofstra will get you to where you want to go. Learn more at hofstra.edu/visit.
There's the starting pitcher, Megan Dieter, the senior for the Tigers of Towson.
Dieter coming in with a 1.91 ERA, 22-6 record. That 22 victories is 22nd nationally. It actually sets a single season record for the Towson Tigers. She's struck out 104 and only walked 41 batters all season, and batters are only hitting 245 against her, so ranked in the top 5 there in the CAA.
Kristen Hallam leads it off for the Hofstra Pride. She shows a little bunt, faking it a bit. 1 ball and 1 strike. It's Hallam, Petrofessa, Alaka, Edwards, Scarpato, Michalowski, Paterno, Musa, and Transu. That's the offensive order for the Hofstra Pride. That's smacked right to the first baseman, over to the glove of second, and she can't make a play on it. They were fortunate to get a play to begin with, as that ball was lashed. Wilson just could not hang on to it. So both teams with a leadoff runner aboard.
To say, yeah, if you look at the replay here, Wilson really lucky. Edwards able to get down and get on that didn't let the ball get into the outfield, which was a very good play there by the Tigers, able to keep the runner just at first base.
An error is charged against Wilson. It was up on her in a hurry, but she certainly got the leather on it. So Petrofessa, the right fielder and a senior, batting at .360, 13 home runs, 55 runs driven in. One of the interesting differences between these clubs is that the home run hitters for Towson are in the 5 and 6 hole, or excuse me, the 4 and 5 hole, where here they're in the 2 and 3 hole for the Hofstra Pride. Alaka right behind her with a dozen home runs. She's on deck. Pitch gets away from the catcher. That should be a pass ball as Hallam easily takes second base. We've got about the same scenario we had in the top of the first.
So yeah, both pitchers kind of needing to calm down a little bit. You could say it's nerves. You know, coming into this tournament, playing in the first game, not really sure exactly, but both just needing to take a deep breath, slow down. Pitchers are a little wild just to calm down a little.
The 1-0 bunt shown, and that high. 2 balls and no strikes. Yeah, pass ball was the official ruling on Hallam's advancement to second base. Petrofessa, 58 hits this season, 17 of those are doubles. She's legged out a couple of triples in the 13 home runs. In for a called strike. 2-1.
Petrofessa ranks 5th all-time at Hofstra. She's got 33 career home runs. A good chunk of those coming this season.
And bunted, successfully so. Here's the throw to first base for the putout as Edwards covering the bag. And a successful sacrifice bunt, which moves Hallam from second to third. What the decision is, but stoppage of play. Coach Anderson coming down. Is she questioning the call?
That's what it looks like. I'm not sure. Runner wasn't leaving first, so. Looks like both coaches are out now. Towson's is out as well.
Let's take a look at the play once again. There's Lisa Costello. She's asking what the issue is. It was pretty close on the play to the bag at first. Let's watch it again as the third baseman comes charging in. Backhand the throw. So maybe there is.
Looks like they sent the runner back from third to second, and there are no outs.
And she successfully reaches first base. Interesting.
Not really sure what that call is.
Now we'll have to wait and see if they can provide a ruling from the press box. And we'll continue on. The bottom line is the Pride has 2 runners aboard, and they're leading, well, second leading home run hitter in Brittany Alaka with a dozen home runs and 46 runs driven in at the plate, and she wields a .336 average. That's fouled off towards the first base dugout. First base is the place where the home team is for this tournament, which sometimes can be a little odd for the host school that is accustomed, and you can't go through the entire tournament being the home team the whole time. They will flip-flop it as they go through to make sure there is some. You have to consider this a neutral site from that standpoint. Ball bunted. That should be a fair ball. No, she's saying foul ball. I thought the plate was in fair territory. If the ball hits the plate and goes forward, that's a fair ball.
I was going to say, it looked like it was right on the plate there from this angle, but the ump might have seen something different. You can look at the replay here, see where the ball kind of, spins around on the plate, but ump called it dead.
All right, so 1 ball, 2 strikes. Of course, if the ball hits in foul territory to the right and kicks in play before it gets to the bag, it's a fair ball too. So maybe resting on the plate, which you don't see that very often, is actually in foul territory. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's well hit, but foul. And that is over into the first base bleacher area of JMU's baseball complex.
Okay, that one was certainly rocketed a little too far to the left. Bring it in some. Add to her home run total.
Ball
She's
low.
second on the team in RBIs, 46, and home runs with 12.
Slugging percentage of .657, while Petrofessa at .727. 1-0. Tigers scored a run on a wild pitch in the top of the first. Popped up. This should be playable, and the first baseman, Wilson, comes over to grab it. 2 away. Oh, excuse me, 1 away. First final of the day, 8-6, favoring the College of Charleston over UNCW. That was an interesting game because the two programs had met over the weekend and scored over the weekend total 8 runs. It was 2-1, 2-0, and 2-1.
And then their run total was 14.
Yes, 14 today. Here's Edwards, designated hitter, designated player, takes the first pitch for ball 1. Sarah, a senior, 347. This is her 50th start of the year. 42 of 121, 11 doubles, 1 triple, 5 home runs. She has driven in 27. Wide open stance. Ball's in the dirt. Runners were on their way, and stolen bases for both Petrofessa and Hallam. Both were on the move. Actually, Hallam probably more so got a bigger jump than did Petrofessa. Well, they're going to say it's a wild pitch. I could have sworn she was going ahead of it. And regardless, 2 are in scoring position.
And Edwards is who you want to have up. A transfer from Buffalo, came into the starting lineup just last season, about halfway through the season. And she takes the walk there. That adds on to last week. She had 2 walks in the series. Give her 1 here today. And that loads the bases for the Hofstra Pride. Towson just 1 out, trying to get out of the first inning jam here and try to get past, just the top half of this lineup, which is so difficult to do.
Bree, I think what happened on Petrofessa reaching, I think it was an illegal pitch. So it ended up walking her, is what the situation, I'm guessing from what I'm seeing on our stat monitor.
And that would send the runner back to second.
Yep. So there's what happened there. It was just hard to tell from our field level conversation what was going on, as Edwards also has drawn the walk to load the bases. And the center fielder, Courtney Scarpato, a junior, 325, 8 home runs, 33 driven in, drives it foul for strike 1.
Courtney Scarpato last weekend, she had a great series against the Tigers. She went 4 for 10 with a home run and 5 RBIs, had a double and a walk in that series.
Dieter doing a little mound work. Here's the pitch, and it's low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike. Bases are filled with Pride players who trail at 1-0. Pitch high, and it is 3-1. It's up. Hitter's count, takes it low for ball 4, and the run walked in. And that is an unearned run.
Last week in Hofstra's 12-0 victory over the Towson Tigers, this is what actually hurt the Tigers the most, is giving out free walks like that, just giving Pride a free base. There was 11 walks in that 12-0 win last week, and a lot of those walks actually came in and ended up being runs for the Pride. So Towson is really going to have to calm down on their pitching and really focus and try not to walk, especially with the bases loaded.
Well, as we take a look and we're kind of handicapping this particular game, I think the thing that jumps out at you is both teams' ability to hit the softball. And when you walk, you give them free bases. You're just asking for trouble.
And they just gave up the run. They, scored that first run in the first inning, and just like that, their lead is gone, and it's back to basically tie ball game, 0-0 game at this point.
But still, more damage maybe to be done by the Pride as Nikki Michalowski, the left fielder, ventures to the batter's box for her first visit in this CAA championship tournament. Michalowski batting at .286. She has 8 home runs, and she's driven in a nifty 25 thus far this year. She got runners at every position, and that's in for a called strike. Dieter and Thies, the battery. Wilson at first, Edwards at second, Miko the shortstop, Minity the third baseman, Garcia in left field, Scott in center, and Stockinger in right field. That's the defensive alignment for the Tigers. That's blowing away for a ball.
Last week, Michalowski, she went 1 for 9 with a walk in the series against Hofstra.
Petrofessa at third, Edwards at second, Scarpato at first. With a 2-1 coming on the way. There it is, and it's lined underneath the glove of the third baseman. No play anywhere, and it is a 2-1 Hofstra lead.
It's a really unfortunate situation there for the Towson Tigers. You have the third baseman diving for that ball, and it goes just off the tip of her glove. You can see it in the replay here, in the shortstop able to cover and get behind her, but at that point runners are able to get to the bases safely, and then she's unable to make a play.
So make it a 2-1 score. Michalowski picking up her 26th RBI in the first hit of the inning. Brings up Paterno, the third baseman. Megan A. Senior, 252, 8 home runs, 28 runs driven in. Now this is a CAA championship tournament. The winner of the tournament gets a chance to go to the NCAA. And when you have a lot of seniors, it's their last chance, obviously. So they have a tendency to kind of ratchet it up a bit when it comes tournament time, because they know it's their last time.
So yeah, especially for these two teams in particular with such senior heavy rosters, they want to do it. They want to do it one final time for their teams, for their teammates, and they really want to be able to make that NCAA tournament appearance. Obviously, Hofstra may be able to get an at-large bid, coming in ranked in the RPI and the polls, but Towson, this is going to be probably their last chance to get that bid into the tournament, and it would have to be an automatic qualifier.
Yeah, of course, the automatic qualifier wins the championship, but if Hofstra doesn't do that, there is a chance the Pride will continue to play afterwards by virtue of their season resume at 37-12. Of course, it all depends on where they get eliminated also, if it's in the championship round. But that's all scenario. Right now, it's just take care of business and don't leave it into the hands of others. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And that's well struck again and foul once again, 1-2. Yeah, the Tigers, they got off to the 19-3 start, and I think you can argue that it wasn't the strongest schedule in the world, but what it did was it set a good positive and confidence-building tone for the Tigers. And the offense tailed off a little bit once they got into CAA play, and the level ratcheted up a bit, but they've made a good adjustment down the stretch here too.
Yeah, I definitely think Towson's confidence was sky high after that start. They started 20-5 coming into conference play, obviously playing JMU that first weekend and being swept, but that confidence coming into play, they then went on to have tied for their best win record in CAA with 13 wins this season. So Towson really setting a lot of records this season, just as themselves, as a team.
Yeah, this has been a remarkable year for Towson in just general numbers. It's kept their SID Rob Knoxwright busy, keeping up to date with all the numbers. And Paterno at the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That just does miss. That's a pretty good looking pitch delivered by Dieter, but it is inside just a shade, and the count draws to full with only 1 out in the inning.
Turno just 0 for 6 last week, but did get walked 3 times with an RBI, so probably in that second game was able to walk in a run.
And this time she'll get credited for being hit by a pitch and driving in a run in doing so. So Edwards will trot in for the 3rd run of the inning. So 3 runs on 1 hit, just 1 hit.
Say if you're Towson, you have to be happy. You're towards the bottom of the lineup now, but you know, 3 runs across. You don't want to fall into what you fell into in that second game last week in that series and have such a large lead blown open by the Hofstra Pride.
Caitlin Musa. First pitch to her is a ball. She is the catcher, also a senior, 283, 1 home run, 17 runs driven in. Peter, the senior, looking at the wristband for the pitch. And I'll tell you what, Hofstra is putting pretty good aluminum on the softball. They're just not putting them in play.
Yeah, Hofstra fighting off a lot of pitches, trying to find that pitch they like, but you know, they're finding other ways to get on base as well. Hit by pitch, a walk. You know, there have been an error as well on the Towson Tigers, but Hofstra finding any and every way to get on base this inning.
Pitch low. 2 balls and 1 strike.
So Caitlin Musa here hitting in the A spot, but last week she went 4 for 8 with 3 RBIs and 2 walks against the Towson Tigers. So a really successful weekend for her, and you know, just an ideal person to have up to bat when you do have the bases loaded and just 1 out.
Holds back her swing and takes ball 3. We've seen a lot of 3-1 counts in this first inning.
Dieter already up to 38 pitches. Hofstra really working the pitch counts on all of these at-bats.
And that's ball 4. So another runner forced across the plate on a free pass, be it hit batter or walk. And Musa picks up that RBI as the parade continues, and the number 9 hitter comes to the plate here in the first, Michaela Transu. The senior batting at 262 with 1 home run, 15 runs driven in. Ground ball hit to 3rd, and she's going to come home for the force out. At first looked like she wanted to touch the bag at 3rd, but she never did and came on home.
I was going to say, I think she might have, if she had taken 1 more step, she would have hit the bag. I think she was trying to, but wanted to get the ball home. You can see in the replay here, all she did was see that runner at home there, and she knew she had to throw it soon to get her out. And it was a smart play. You would rather get that runner at home than at 3rd. You only had 1 out, and now you do have 2, so now there's a play at any bag.
So with 2 outs, and they flip the order, comes back up again, and that's swung on by Hallam, who led this off with an error. Sharply hit ball off the first baseman to start the first. But this is the 10th batter to the plate here in the bottom of the first as the Hofstra Pride cruising out to a 4-1 lead. The game earlier today, it looked like College of Charleston had a chance to run away from UNCW, but the Seahawks battled back. As I mentioned, it is tournament time, so no relaxation for anyone.
Yeah, I was going to say a similar thing is very possible. Could happen in this game with just the hitting capabilities of the Towson Tigers. You know, you're seeing Hofstra's right now, but once Towson comes up to bat, it could be the same exact way, just a back and forth game the entire way, all the way to the 7th inning, just like UNCW and Charleston.
That's going to make its way through the infield to drive in another run, make it 5-1. And that one earned, if you would, because, well, the base hit, that's just the 2nd hit of the inning.
Yeah, Hofstra Pride really doing a great job of capitalizing on anything and everything this inning. Hit by pitches, walks, errors, hits, everything. They've gotten 5 runs off of 2 hits and just 1 error.
And that error was on the first batter of the ball game. Pitch outside, ball 1 to Petrofessa, who walked after we figured it all out in the first. Seahawks of UNCW lost earlier today to College of Charleston. Ball fouled off.
So that sets up a matchup for James Madison and College of Charleston after this one, and then the loser of this one will take on UNCW in an elimination game after Jamie's game next.
Yeah, we got a little off schedule. That first game took a little while to play. That ball's hit well to left field. Diving, making the catch, and that saved a bunch of runs. Marcia in left field. But a big, big inning to start this CAA championship tournament off for the Pride of Hofstra, as they plate 5 runs on 1 hit and 1 error and leave the bases loaded. After 1 full inning of play, 5-1 Pride over the Towson Tigers here on CAA.TV.
Hey, salutes a lot! Thou hast the patchy beard of a prepubescent squire. Thy armour was forged by a feeble-fingered peasant woman. Your mum!
As long as hecklers love to heckle, you can count on Geico saving folks money.
Boring!
15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Well, if you're a little late to join us, it's already a 5-1 ball game. Lots of activity in the first inning, and I will say it wasn't the cleanest of first innings for both teams, but it does open up. Hofstra took full advantage, as Bri stated. Anything and everything they could take advantage of in the first. They certainly tried to, so that sends Miss Cornell back into the circle with a 4-run lead.
Yeah, if you're Cornell, you have to be breathing a lot easier, feeling more comfortable in the circle. You have an inning under your belt. You've got a 4-run advantage. You just need to keep your team in front and get outs.
Shelby Strikers leads off. First pitch is high, ball 1. Shelby batting at .278 with 7 home runs. He has driven in 34. Slugging percentage right at .500. 40 hits and 144 at bats. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Shelby Steger, she only has 7 home runs this year. 1 did come last week against the Pride, but actually set the home run record for Towson last year with 15.
That is inside the bag at third. That might be extra bases. No, well done by Michalowski to cut it off. So it is a single down the line. In baseball, that's surely a double. In softball, if it's played well by the corner outfielder, it's held to a single.
Say that ball was perfectly positioned, could not have gone any tighter to the line, and just like you said earlier, those seniors really fighting, getting those hits and fighting so they don't want their season to end.
There's the first pitch in for a called strike. Kendall Arcia, a junior, batting at .239, 1 home run, 11 runs driven in. She, is the left fielder, made a nice play defensively to end the bottom of the first. Cut on and missed, 0-2.
Say Kendall, she actually has a perfect fielding percentage this season, so great defensive play already, really showing her defensive power out there.
Cornell in the circle, 5'9", Westbury, New York, went to Clark. She works off the rubber and she gets the strikeout. That is her 2nd of the day.
Cornell definitely a strikeout pitcher, adding 2 to her total, up to 227 for the reigning CAA pitcher of the year.
Kaylin Menete, third baseman, a junior, 344. 43 of 125 on the year. Not much on extra base hits. She does have a couple doubles, does have 3 home runs, driven in 25. First pitch is high, ball 1. Minity, another of the Tigers that makes the trip across the country from California to play there at Towson, Maryland. Just on the outskirts of Baltimore. Ball and a strike.
Coming into the season, Minity, she only had 27 at-bats throughout her freshman and sophomore campaigns. Already well past that with 125 at-bats this season, really getting a lot of time a lot of playing time on field at the plate, hitting .344, so really making the most of what she's been given.
A little quick conference inside the circle. That's fouled back out of play. One ball and 2 strikes. Minity, the number 8 hitter in the Tiger order. That's popped up in fair territory. Right on the line it ends up. And Alaka makes a catch. So 2 away after the leadoff single.
Hofstra, they do have the pitchers, but they also are great on the defensive side. They lead the CAA with a .978 fielding percentage, which also ranks 7th nationally. So it's really hard to get anything past them in the field.
Here's the catcher, Riley Thies rather. First pitch to Riley is a strike. She's at .286, no home runs, 10 runs driven in. That's one thing that Hofstra throughout the years has, generally speaking, had some very good pitching. And it's backed, supported by very good defense. And if you can get those two with the consistency, you can scratch out a lot of wins offensively. Although they've had their power hitters and they've had their percentage hitters throughout the years also. A ball and a strike. There's Hofstra before becoming a member of the Colonial, just like Towson, members of the America East. That's one reason you see the Tigers and the Pride with so many games played between. This is number 91 all time. That's inside for a ball. 3-1. The CAA didn't start sponsoring softball until they joined the league. That's cut on and missed. Just didn't have enough programs to support it. That was about the same time JMU started its softball program, and that helped matters a bit.
Say if you look at the all-time series numbers between a lot of these teams, it's only about 10, 15, 20 games because they haven't had that many meetings. They've just started recently, about 10 years ago, started really playing each other.
Yeah, Elon would be in that mix. College of Charleston, they're relatively new. This is the 5th year for those two programs. Elon from Elon, North Carolina, the College of Charleston from Charleston, South Carolina. That's a nice piece of hitting for Thies. She has slowed her bat down a bit and lines it past the shortstop for the 2nd hit of the inning, 3rd of the ball game for the Tigers.
Yeah, Thies last week only played in 1 of the games against the Hofstra Pride. She went 0 for 2 in that matchup, but she comes in. She was a 4-time All-League honoree in high school and is able to get just the 3rd hit of the game for the Towson Tigers and able to get a runner into scoring position and 2 runners on base.
Towson entered the CAA tournament ranked 2nd nationally in doubles per game, nearly 2. 1 and 3/4, we'll say, that's the exact. 3rd in batting average at .336 and 5th in scoring. So even though they're down 5-1, they average 6.5 runs per ball game. And that'll win you a lot of ball games in the sport of softball. There's ball 1 to Scott, who led off by pounding one off the base of the wall in left center field for a double. She came on to score the Tigers' run. Try to get the Tigers a 2-out run here in the 2nd. That misses for ball 2.
Say as a team they're ranked nationally, but also individually up to bat now. Scott, she's ranked nationally as well. 2nd in hits with 84, 4th in batting average with a .472, 5th in total bases with 137, and is the 10th toughest to strike out, 35.6.
Well, she'll pop up this time. It is behind the bag at second, where Transu comes over to the shortstop side of the bag to make the out. So second inning for the Towson Tigers. No runs. They do muster a couple of hits. They leave 2 stranded. Do an inning and a half. Hofstra 5 and Towson 1 here on CAA.TV.
Floats it into the post to Nick Harrison away.
We've all been there.
Can't even see the score. Oh my God.
Trying to watch the game on that tiny screen. It's time to watch sports the way they were meant to be watched. On this, in high definition. You can now watch all your favorite teams and players on the big screen for free. With CAA.TV, you'll never miss a moment. Take back the living room by searching CAA on your device.
The 2018 CAA Softball Pitcher of the Year is Hofstra's Sarah Cornell. The sophomore becomes the first Hofstra player since 2013 to win CAA Pitcher of the Year and the Pride's 10th award recipient all time. The hard-throwing righty went 22-7 in the circle this season, leading the conference with 225 strikeouts and 199 2/3 innings pitched.
Well, we're seeing the pitcher of the year working here in this ball game for the Pride of Hofstra University. And she is in the dugout right now where her team goes to the plate to try to build on a 5-1 lead. 5-1. Hofstra over the Tigers. Hofstra, the number 2 seed, won their first 15 conference games for suffering a loss, but finished as the number 2 seed. And Hofstra, 37 wins overall. And Alaka popped up first time up. Takes the first pitch inside for ball 1.
Hofstra came in on a 15-game win streak through CAA play, coming in undefeated to 2 weekends ago.
Ground ball is short, 1 out in the second.
So they came in 2 weekends ago here to play James Madison, got swept by James Madison, and then last weekend ended up losing the series opener to the Tigers and then winning both games. So the only 2 teams that they have losses to in conference are the Dukes and the Tigers.
Yeah, that surround them in the final standings. There's Edwards. She walked in the first and eventually came around to score the 3rd run. Pitch outside, ball 1. But even in that series against James Madison, it was a close series. I mean, they lost the first game on a walk-off home run in the bottom of the 7th. Second game, a 3-run homer in the 5th was the difference, the 6-3 final. Then lost in 10 innings, 11-8.
I was going to say, one of the things about this Hofstra team, we've talked about their batting being so good, their pitching and their fielding, is if you want to win, you know, you're going to have some long balls, it seems like. In that weekend against JMU, they had a lot of those long balls to push them in their victories. As you talked about, they were home run wins.
Yeah, JMU hit 10 home runs in that series. Nicely done by the second baseman. Edwards going to her knees to play it.
Edwards playing that one perfectly, making sure that the ball does stay in front of her. She doesn't want anything happening. You know, earlier we saw a lot of balls go straight through the legs of some UNCW players, and so she didn't want to make sure that happened, didn't want to give Hofstra any more advantages than they already have.
Here comes Scarpato, who also walked in the first inning. She takes the first pitch here for a strike. Hofstra receiving votes on both the USA Today National Fast Pitch Coaches Association Coaches Poll and the ESPN.com USA Today Softball Poll. Madison ranked on both of those. Those are the 2 teams in the league right now that are garnering at least national top 25, top 30 contention. In fact, the Pride has posted 5 wins against nationally ranked opponents since Coach Anderson became the head coach in 2015, and 3 times that was against JMU, in fact. Here's popped up into shallow center field. Coming on and making the catch is Scott. don't know if she called off Edwards or Edwards just gave up on the ball, but Scott certainly did not.
So we've been talking about Hofstra's defense, but Towson for the second inning in a row has some great defensive plays to end the inning by both out by the left fielder and center fielder. See in the replay here, she's just running in and she's able to just grab that one.
3 up, 3 down in the second inning. We've gone through 2. It's 5-1 Hofstra over Towson. Game 2 of this year's CAA Championship Tournament.
Life is about moments. If you fight, I fight. If I fight, we fight.
You be there and watch what I do when the bell rings. Do you have that real look in your eye that when you look at yourself in the mirror, you can ask yourself this question: did I give everything I got? Did I lay it all on the line? Or am I cheating myself?
What you say, Quade? See ya!
Right at it. Oh! He's done it again! So whatever you're gonna do, claim it. Leave your mark on this world.
5-1 our score. We go to the top of the third inning. I'm Curt Dudley along with Bri Leach. The first of 2 games that we're delighted to bring to you today here on CAA.tv. We'll have a third game this evening at 6:30, actually the 4th and final game of the day. Snared by the second baseman, Transu on the quick hop. Happy birthday.
I think by the end of this game, we might be able to put together just a highlight reel of all the defensive plays, because defense is really coming in key on both sides with the Tigers and the Pride.
Daria Edwards, she walked in the first. And for the strike is Cornell. Gives it that little vocal finish inside the circle. She could play tennis with that kind of sound effect.
I actually interestingly heard the other week that the grunts that you hear is to distract the other player. So you could look at it. If you watch when she grunts when the ball crosses the plate as well. So she does it after her release.
Ground ball again to the shortstop. Nice range for Hallam.
I don't know if you noticed it there, but she didn't grunt until about the ball hit the bat on that one. So it could be a little strategy there. You never know.
So you're saying it's not necessarily with the exertion, but more the follow-up of making it appear that your ball is coming even faster.
Could be. You got to trick the batter somehow.
I guess so. Without balking.
Without balking.
Yes. Of course, that's more for the base runner. There's a called strike to Miko. Miko dotting all kinds of records. 22 multiple hit games this year. Set the Towson single season record for RBIs, runs, and doubles. And I believe she has actually taken over as the all-time career leader in the CAA, which means that no more is Taylor Newton at the top of the list there. She finished her career last year with James Madison.
RBI and run marks are single season records in the CAA, 72 RBIs.
That's popped up into center field and easily playable by Scarpato. And we've had back-to-back innings of 1, 2, 3. So after a wacky first inning, things have settled in here. 5-1 Hofstra when we return here on CAA.tv.
The 2018 CAA Softball Defensive Player of the Year goes to Elon's Hannah Olson. Olsen is Elon's first ever recipient of one of the CAA's major individual softball awards. She finished her senior season with a .936 fielding percentage, committing just 11 errors in 173 chances at shortstop.
Towson and Hofstra, game number 2 of the CAA Softball Championship Tournament. Baseball tournament coming up on May the 23rd. You can watch all that action also on CAA.tv. Then also here in Harrisonburg. Still a couple of weekends of regular season play remaining on the CAA baseball docket. Nikki Mikulowski, the senior left fielder, singled in the first. She starts off. Whoop, I'm sorry, I gotta flip my page. Beg your pardon. This is Stockinger. No, it is Mikulowski. I'm getting all confused here. She'll send it down the line. 0-2. She drove in the second run, scoring Petra Fessa with a single. And that made it a 2-1 affair. Got it right underneath the glove of the third baseman. Hofstra proceeded to add 3 more in the first. That's outside.
Mikulowski, she was a second-team All-CAA selection this year. She was also named to the second team in the CAA in 2016 as a sophomore. So her sophomore and senior campaigns really sticking out there, getting postseason honors from the league.
Ground ball, this one to the shortstop again. And one away. That's 5 in a row retired from Dieter.
Now batting the third baseman, number 36, Megan Paterno.
Paterno was hit by a pitch on a full count pitch back in the first, and that scored another run. At the moment, made it 3-1. Well, the preseason polls, they did have James Madison winning and Hofstra at number 2, so that ended up coming to fruition. That misses. 1 ball, 1 strike. And ground foul left side. And missing once again.
Something I will expect throughout the rest of this game. I think it's for it to calm down a little bit. We had a little bit of an exciting first inning, but both of these teams, you know, last week they were very close contests except for that middle game, and both teams able to really keep the hitting in check for the others, as another one is fouled off there. But they're able to keep the other team in check, not really having too much success other than that middle game, obviously, when Hofstra erupted for 12 runs. But I would expect the rest of this game, you know, unless some hitters, you know, find some more power throughout, but the last inning and a half, batters have been going down in order.
That's a little humpback liner, and easily pulled in by Miko for the second out. So 2 outs in the fourth.
Now batting the catcher, number 8, Caitlin Musa.
Caitlin Musa, a senior from Miami, Florida, transfer from Florida International. She comes to the batter's box. Musa charges this one to left field, and right on the edge of the warning track, it's hauled in for the final out of the inning. Another 1-2-3 inning for Dieter and the Tiger defense. We'll come back with the top of the fourth, that is. 5-1 our score remains here on CAA.tv.
Launching into the post to Nick Harrison.
We've all been there.
Can't even see the score. Oh my God.
Trying to watch the game on that tiny screen? It's time to watch sports the way they were meant to be watched. On this, in high definition. You can now watch all your favorite teams and players on the big screen for free. With CAA.TV, you'll never miss a moment. Take back the living room by searching CAA on your device.
Hey, salutes a lot. Thou hast the patchy beard of a prepubescent squire. Thy armour was forged by a feeble-fingered peasant woman. Your mum!
As long as hecklers love to heckle, you can count on Geico saving folks money.
Boring.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
One run on 3 hits and 1 error for the Towson Tigers for the pride of Hofstra. Odd-looking line score, 5 runs on 2 hits and no errors. Beautiful day here for Old Glory to do some dancing, as well as some of the fans. Nice and tidy. That should be sponsored by a cleaning company, Mary Maids or something. They're actually at my house today. Nope, tomorrow. It's tomorrow they come tomorrow.
Have a nice, sparkling, clean home
I
after
hope so.
that.
Yep. My mother-in-law insists. All right, Stockinger leads it off here for the Tigers in the 4th. Struck out to end the 1st. Sends this to left field. Deep it goes. It'll clear the wall. Home run for the Tigers.
It's going to be her 14th of the season. She's closing in on the CAA single season record here. And she brings Towson to within 3, making the score 5-2.
That collects her 53rd RBI in the process. And Strocker comes to the plate. She has 7 home runs, 34 runs driven in for the senior designated player. Misses just outside for ball 1. Strocker single to left field, just inside the bag actually at 3rd. To start the 2nd inning. That is the 4th hit of the contest.
Stalker, a bright spot in this Towson Tigers lineup last week and into today with a single in the 2nd inning. Last week she went 3 for 7 with 2 RBIs, a walk, and a home run in their weekend series against the Pride.
Twice named CAA Player of the Week, once in late February and then again middle of March. In for the strike, 2 balls and 1 strike. Games today start at 11. Tomorrow they'll begin at noon. Little looper right behind the bag and coming across. It's Hallam to field it in the air. 1 out. Plate umpire want to check the softball a bit. Meets her approval.
Now batting the left fielder, number 18, Kendall Arcia.
Kendall Arcia comes up for a 2nd time. She struck out. Her initial trip to the plate. The junior takes a look at the called strike. Arcia from Orlando, Florida. Oh, and 2. I can only imagine that if you're from Southern California or Florida and you are playing softball in this region this particular April, you're thinking, what have I gotten myself into?
I was going to say, both of these teams, they've got quite a few players from California. I was reading through Towson some stuff, and a lot of them were like, I just wanted to be over on the East Coast, you know, just to get off the West Coast, see what the East Coast is about, but then they also were like, if there was another sport they could play, they would choose volleyball because it's inside and they wouldn't have to play in the cold.
There you go.
So
It's just been unusually cool, and a strikeout. Of course, most people know about that around the country. In fact, I think it's had its impact, particularly on baseball averages, both on the professional and the collegiate level this year. That's 3 strikeouts for Cornell, at least my observation of that, and it's been talked about in the bigs, particularly in late March when the season began, and much of April. It's starting to level out a little bit now. There's ball 1 to Menity, who popped up to the first baseman first time up. 2 away, home run to lead off the inning, 5-2. Hofstra with the advantage. Cornell delivers. It's the riser, cut on by Menity. That'll level the count at a ball and a strike. The 13 CAA regular season wins for the Tigers, ties the program record of 05 and 09. Cut on for strike 2, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
she got her on another rise pitch, and that rise pitch, that's Cornell's one of her favorite pitches. You see, I'd be interested to see how many of her strikeouts she's actually gotten from that rise pitch.
Pops this one on the infield. Calling for it is Paterno. The basket catch ends the frame. Leadoff homer is all the damage the Tigers can do in the 4th, but they cut into the lead oh so slightly. 5-2 after 3.5 here on CAA.TV as she circles them all.
He was committed to Yale to play lacrosse, and I was committed to Towson. So I was thinking to myself, why would Matt go to Yale if he had a chance to go to Towson? Our family's very tight, so Greg's like, yo, let's sell some salad dressing. I'm like, all right. And Matt's like, all right.
But I do think our experiences in college made us who we are today.
Yeah, we're official sponsors of Towson Athletics now.
That's right. Distinguished
sponsors.
Seek, shape, and discover your own educational and career path at Hofstra University, where dedicated faculty help you pursue your passions in a dynamic learning environment. From tailored programs in small class settings to exciting internship and networking opportunities in nearby Manhattan. Participate in a service project that gives back to the community while building leadership skills. Conduct research in one of our innovative labs, or intern with top-tier companies in finance or media. No matter your journey, Hofstra will get you to where you want to go. Learn more at hofstra.edu/visit.
So the fans here at Veterans Memorial Park, and considering that we're in a mid-afternoon game, the crowd not too bad. Should pick up as the afternoon moves along, with the host school playing at 4 o'clock. Doesn't hurt.
I was going to say, a really great time slot there for the Dukes. I would expect these stands to really fill up. Added some extra bleachers out in left field.
Yeah, some folks are taking advantage of that now. Michaela Transu will start it off. The number 9 hitter reached on a fielder's choice when Michalowski was gunned down at the plate 5-2.
Transu, she's a redshirt senior. She missed last season due to injury and kind of struggled a little bit at the beginning of this season, but is able to put together, had an 11-game hit streak throughout the middle of April with 7 RBIs over those 11 games.
Count is even, a ball and a strike. First pitch was in there, second pitch was not.
So if there's ever a time that you need a hitter to get hot and you want her to start picking up RBIs, getting those hits, it's now. It's conference tournament time and postseason time.
The inside for a ball, 2-1. Now Hofstra finishing at 17-4 in the league and 13-8 for Towson. UNCW 9-12. They were 6-12 coming into the final weekend of the regular season. To get in, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Swept Charleston to get in and then ended up losing to Charleston in the opener.
Final weekly awards went to Jessica Morozak, the Player of the Week of James Madison. Jordan Cargill of Delaware was the Pitcher of the Week. Blue Hens did not make the 5-team tournament field. Sarah Davis of UNCW, she pitched earlier today, shared the Pitcher of the Week honor, and Rookie of the Week from JMU, Sarah Jubas. Those were the final weekly awards. Pop back out of play. This is going to end up on top of the first base dugout. And outside for a ball. So leadoff walk here for the Pride in the 4th. Transu aboard for the 2nd time.
Now batting the shortstop, number 9, Kristen Hollum.
Hollum's up for the 3rd time. Reached on an error by the first baseman, a sharply hit ball in the 1st. That set the table for the 5-run first. At least helped to pull out a chair anyway. And then she singled later in the inning. She bunts it. Looked like it hit the bat twice. And safe at first base.
Say going back to that first game, College of Charleston, they had a lot of success off of their bunt game, able to get safe to first base, get a couple runs scored off of the bunts as well.
Watch this, see if it hits the bat on the way back up again. Oh, maybe it did not. Okay, it just sounded like it hit it again from up here.
Yeah, that was a perfectly placed bunt. You know, really slow dribble just straight down, and she was able to have the speed to get down that line and get to first base.
Petrofessa lined out, hit the ball really well to left field, but a nice play by Arcia in left ended the inning. And she bunts at it again, but fouls it off. 0-2.
Petrofessa, a second-team All-CAA selection a year ago, and a second-team All-CAA selection this year as well.
And she takes a look at strike 3. One away in the 4th.
Now batting the first baseman, number 21.
Dieter picking up her first strikeout of the afternoon, her 105th of the season.
Well, that was right at the knees. I think the thread was at the top of the knees when it crossed the plate. And I'm talking about the thread on top. Fouled off, reaching out, touching that one. Alaka, who is 0 for 2, popping up to the pitcher. And grounding out to short. High, ball 1-1. A little groundwork. Megan Dieter gets it settled, line to right field. Runners will hold, they'll just move up one base. So with one out, the Pride, once again, has a Pride on the bases.
I'm going to say the top of the lineup, you can see it there. It's so difficult to get through. Finally getting some hits on the board. Second hit of the inning for the Hofstra Pride to load the bases. And that brings up Sarah Edwards. Edwards, a 16-game streak where she's able to reach base coming into today.
Edwards did reach base. She walked in the first, scored a run. Takes the first pitch for a strike. (5-2), bottom of the 4th. Pride looking to add to it. That's a good pitch, just catches the corner. 1-2. Both teams with 4 hits. That misses just a shade. 2-2.
Throughout the season, Dieter, she had 35 appearances, only walking 41 batters in all 35 appearances. Already has 5 walks today, so something very uncharacteristic of her as a pitcher.
Missing outside again. Both teams scoring in the first. The Tigers jumping out in front 1-0, but the Pride answered with 5 in the bottom of the first. Tigers got 1 in the fourth. Here's the Pride trying to add more here, and that's strike 3.
That was a great spot there by Dieter, putting that on the outside corner of the plate down at the knees. Caught Edwards caught looking on that pitch and was able to get the strikeout, just her second of the day. See it there again on that outside corner.
Scarpato 0 for 1 with a fly ball to center field last time up. She's also walked and scored a run. She'll ground this one right back to the pitcher. Does she get it in time? She shovels it through, and everybody is safe. Here comes another run to the plate. So 2-run scores on the play. Now time is called, and Transu running on contact, and Hallam running right through the bag at third on the way home on the continuation of the play.
So we saw it earlier today, the heads-up base running by College of Charleston when UNCW wasn't covering third, and this more heads-up base running by Hofstra, realizing that no one has the ball and you can just keep going until they realize where the ball is. They had to find it first, and they're able to score 2 on that one.
An error is charged to Dieter as she had it and then had some issues with it. The high throw allows second run to easily score, and she gets the ground out of Scarpato to end the inning. But not until the damage is done for the Pride. 2 runs come across on the aid of 2 hits and 1 error, and 2 runners left on base. Both of those runs are unearned. So after 4, it is 7-2. Pride over the Tigers here on CAA.TV. We'll be back with the top of the 5th when we return.
Hey, so lose a lot. Thou hast the patchy beard of a prepubescent squire. Thy armour was forged by a feeble-fingered peasant woman. Your mum!
As long as hecklers love to heckle, you can count on Geico saving folks money.
Boring.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
This year's CAA Softball Coach of the Year is James Madison's Lauren Laporte. Coach Laporte took over the helm for JMU in 2018, and the first-year head coach guided the Dukes to their 5th straight CAA regular season title with a 19-2 record in conference play. James Madison registered an overall record of 40-10 through the regular season, securing its 6th consecutive 40-win campaign and is ranked in the top 25 nationally.
And first-year head coach Lauren Laporte named the CAA Coach of the Year. There's Nate Clayton. I think Clayton borrowed that hat from his daughter.
Hey, if it keeps him out of the sun. Sun's not too bad today. It's a really nice day for some softball here.
Riley Thies singled in the 2nd. She'll start things here in the 5th for the Tigers, who once again find themselves in a deeper hole. Peace tries to bunt it. Peace with a base hit just past, lining it past the glove of the shortstop into left center field. Strike one on this at bat.
I'm going to say that she went on that one, Coach. Not happy, having some words with the ump about it.
Tricia Trescott is the home plate umpire. Alex Leap at first base and Alan Riggs down at third base. Couple of crews working this weekend. Kerry Joseph, Mario Calabrese, and Alex Leap they were on the first game. Alex, I think he's headed out to the Midwest. I think he's doing the Big East later on in the week, so I don't think he'll be here the rest of the week. 0-2. That rises up a bit high. I don't know where that came from. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Having some fun with it.
Yep. Hey, that's what we just enjoy. It's just fun to get on out here, watch some softball. It's better than being in the office on a May day. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I must admit, though, it makes May go by extremely fast when you have all these tournaments going on. But that's okay.
But then you've got all summer to relax.
Yeah, think about what we're going to do next year.
Get ready and prepare. But first, you got softball, baseball, lacrosse, all here in Harrisonburg.
That's all going on. And timed well by Transu. Looked like at first she wanted to leap, but she realized she didn't need to. Ball came back down to her, had a little top spin. So 1 out in the 5th. Yeah, I mentioned the baseball tournament. The James Madison also hosting first and second round NCAA lacrosse, women's lacrosse, the number 3 seed. They don't play until Sunday, as Stanford and Virginia will meet here in Harrisonburg Friday night. Ball 1 to Scott, who has 1 for 2.
Towson also a nationally ranked team this year and will host.
Got the number 7 seed, did the Tigers. So that's pretty good. 2 top 8 seeds coming out of the Colonial.
Well, Scott already has 1 hit today. She's led Towson with 29 multi-hit games this season. That one go by. She's hit over 300 all 4 years of her career, including a 472 this year. So something you like to see out of your players, improvement each and every year, and she's been a force ever since her freshman year.
Number 4 in CAA history with 159 career runs. But she'll bound this one to the shortstop before she gets too far off this at bat. Is in a number of other categories. 248 career hits. Was number 3 coming into the tournament. Number 5 in league history in doubles with 50. Here's Wilson. Sends it the opposite way, and it's going to drop in between the 2 outfielders. She thought about a double. She'll have to hustle back to the bag at first. So a 2-out single. That's hit number 5 for the Tigers.
So that's going to be Wilson's 68th hit of the season. She's ranked 34th nationally in hits.
Number 23, Daria Edwards.
Just another Towson Tiger adding to their national accolades in the statistic categories. Such a great hitting team.
Daria Edwards looking for her first hit. She's 0 for 1 with a walk. Here's a throw back to first and saved there. Alaka had to reach back to get the throw from Musa, the catcher. Swing and a miss for the Tiger. Again, tomorrow's games start at noon, where today, because of 4 games, we started at 11. But tomorrow and Friday, noon is the start time. And all coverage here on CAA.tv. Reaching out, staying alive, it's Edwards.
Edwards, second team All CAA. Did reach base one time last weekend with a walk. It's a few walks, or walk today as well.
Another foul back. This is an important game. Early in the tournament, of course, it is double elimination, but winning this game gets you to the Thursday noon game. The winner of that game gets right into the championship game. That's kind of the sub-championship contest, because if you don't win that one, you got to come back and play again and work your way back to that title game, and you got to win twice to take the title. Fly ball to center field. Scarpato ranges over for the putout. No runs. There was a hit. Runner left stranded at first base. 4.5 are complete. 7-2 Pride over the Tigers of Towson here on CAA.tv. We'll be right back.
Life is about moments. If you fight, I fight. If I fight, we fight.
You be there and watch what I do when the bell rings. Do you have that real look in your eye that when you look at yourself in the mirror, you can ask yourself this question: did I give everything I got? Did I lay it all on the line? Or am I cheating myself?
What you say, Quade? All right. See ya. Right at it, right at it. Oh! He's done it again!
So whatever you're gonna do, claim it. Leave your mark on this world.
Michalowski, the left fielder, she led off the 3rd inning, grounding out the short. She'll get a chance to lead off here in the next odd inning as we go to the bottom of the 5th. 7-2. Oops, hang on. Did I get something out of order there? I beg your pardon. This is Paterno leading off.
Paterno was hit by a pitch in the 1st and popped out to the shortstop in the 3rd.
She takes a swing at the first 2 and fouls them both off.
Say Paterno led Hofstra with 30 RBIs a year ago. She's at 29, so just one shy of her season total from a year ago.
Oh, and 2. Ground ball, third base side. Shortstop will call for it. Nice stretch to get the put out. Well done by Wilson at first base. Like good communication all the way around for the Tigers. Minity probably could have got to that, but maybe Miko felt like she had a better chance at getting the put out. That's down the line in left field. Quickly into the corner. That's just a single. Ball gets away, but backed up. Base hit for Musa. Hit number 5 for Hofstra.
Great hit there by Hofstra, and great play by Arcia out in left field. You can see the angle as she takes on it. She's able to get it off the wall and turn her body and get it in as fast as she can, able to just hold her to a single.
It is a single in the 5th, the 5th hit of the ball game. To go with 7 runs for the Pride, and Transu Carries the bat up to the plate for the third time. Reached on a fielder's choice and a walk. And she scored the 6th run for the Pride. It came in the 4th. Two and 0. Hofstra, when coming into the CAA, won the title in 02, 03, 04, 05, 06, 07, 08.
Hofstra, lots and lots of successful campaigns up until the last few seasons. 23 out of 26 seasons they either won regular season title or conference tournament title. So they're looking to get back on track there. JMU has really come out these past couple of years and dominated both of those, but Hofstra really looking to get back into it.
After JMU stopped that streak in 09, the Pride won it again in 2010. Then Georgia State snuck in and claimed the 2011 title up in Hempstead. Then Hofstra won it in 12 and 13, JMU in 14, Hofstra in 15. That was here. And the Dukes of JMU winning it the last 2 seasons. Ground ball to the shortstop. The flip to second for 1. The relay is in time. It is a 6-4-3 double play.
Great defensive play there by the Towson Tigers, able to get that play in time. Such a difficult play in softball because the base paths are so much shorter, but Towson able to turn to it just in time.
There was a hit, but that runner erased on the twin killing. So we go to the 6th. 7-2. Score remains in favor of the 2nd-seeded Hofstra Pride over the 3rd-seeded Towson Tigers.
The CAA wants you to be part of the conversation.
Floats it into the post, and Nick Harrison away.
We've all been there.
Can't even see the score. Oh my God.
Trying to watch the game on that tiny screen? It's time to watch sports the way they were meant to be watched. On this, in high definition. You can now watch all your favorite teams and players on the big screen for free. With CAA.TV, you'll never miss a moment. Take back the living room by searching CAA on your device.
He was
gorgeous day here in Harrisonburg in the central Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. So we are here at the first full week of May and starting the 2018 CAA Championship Tournament. Earlier today, the 5th-seeded College of Charleston knocked off 4th-seeded UNCW 8-6. So College of Charleston waiting to play the Dukes of JMU at 4 thereabouts. We'll see if we stay on schedule. And the Seahawks, they come back at 6:30 to play one of these two teams, whoever doesn't win in this matchup. First pitch swinging, it's foul. Miko, strike 1.
Something you've seen a lot from Towson today, being really aggressive in the batter's box. Only one player has been walked today. Cornell only one, letting one person reach on a free pass, but Towson really, being aggressive, swinging at the balls, fouling a lot of them off, working a couple counts deep. Able to get a few hits, but unable to really string anything together as they only have a solo shot in the 4th and then the 1 run in the 1st.
Ground ball again, foul third base. Miko indeed does lead all-time players in CAA history in RBIs, 181. She's up there in season RBIs, doubles, season runs. 2-2. Foul back. Count holds 2-2. Delaware senior Leanna Gerhardt, her career has concluded, but she finished #1 in CAA history with stolen bases, finished with 105, and she had 21 career triples. Do you think the woman had some speed, huh? Coming over, making the diving, sliding catch, Petra Fessa.
Speed like Petra Fessa there.
There you go, exactly.
Say you had to get some speed to get that one. That one way in foul territory. Petra Fessa, you can see her just full-on sprint there, is able to slide and get that one for an absolutely great catch there out in right field.
So she put the pedal to the metal to get the Petro into the Petra Fessa, right?
Certainly did. Say if she tried to hit that one, she probably would have gotten a triple out of it.
That's right. All right, here is Stockinger, who earlier homered today. Here you see it back earlier in the ball game.
Solo shot in the 4th inning.
Made it 5-2 at that point. One ball. Sends one that same direction, but not quite as deep. Here's a pop-up to Paterno at third base.
Able, she's just got underneath that one, wasn't really able to square her bat behind it as much as she would have liked to, causing a pop-up
Now
there.
batting the designated player, #12, Shelby Strocker.
Shelby Strocker is 1 for 2 today for the Tigers. She singled inside the bag at third in the second, popped up to short right after Stockinger circled the bases with her home run. Cornell working here in the circle in her 6th inning, comes right back to her and make that an easy inning. One, two, three, the Tigers go in order. Pride with a 7-2 lead as we're in the 6th here on CAA.TV.
Now on to the individual awards. The 2018 CAA Softball Rookie of the Year is James Madison's Peyton Bursch. The freshman pitcher was 17-4 with a league best 1.39 ERA for the Dukes this season. She was named a top 25 finalist for the NFCA Division I Freshman of the Year award and has struck out 87 batters in 141 in the 3rd innings.
Pitching change for the Tigers of Towson University. Coach Lisa Costello goes to the bullpen and brings in Julia Smith-Harrington, a sophomore from Albany, Oregon.
Smith-Harrington, she comes in with a 4.46 ERA and a 7-5 win-loss record. She's walked 29 batters while striking out 33 on the season, and batters hit 258 against her. She's made 17 appearances with 13 starts as a Tiger this season.
Just bringing in somebody different here to change it up a little bit and hopefully to keep the Pride from uprising any further, keeping it as tight a ball game as they possibly can, as Tigers down to their final 3 outs in this first round game.
Yeah, you're bringing the top of the order up. You want to give them, each pitcher has their own pitches that, you know, they really excel at, and each pitcher has a different look to try to get them looking a little differently, catch them. Got a change up there, able to get strike 1.
Yeah, and this is the 4th time through the order, so try to, again, mix it up just a bit. getting on the same, make sure they're in the same chapter, much less the same page here in the 6th inning. Crowd starting to grow just a little bit as this game gets into the latter stages. That's in for a strike. 0-2. Is that an illegal pitch? Yep, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Towson with a pair of illegal pitches today, not something you see very often.
Ooh, that's a bling bling Curt just walked by. You'll have to see that one later. It was a sparkly.
Sun caught it.
Yes, hit it just right. Now I'm seeing spots. And another illegal pitch. So make it 2-1. Lisa Costello asking, hey, can we chat with her and find out? This is a new pitcher in the lineup here today, of course.
So this is actually the first time that Hofstra has seen this pitcher. She didn't get any action last weekend in their series. And so having a talk with finding what exactly she's doing wrong and why it's an illegal pitch.
Smith Harrington, like she's doing her best to understand what it is she's not doing properly.
Be interesting to hear umpire behind the plate on exactly what she was doing wrong.
Now she's jotting, I don't know if she's jotting that as a trip to the mound. I guess she is, or a trip to the circle for the coaching staff. 2 balls and 1 strike should be the count. And that's what she flashes up there. Two and 1. And that's driven, knocked down by Edwards, and she'll get the put out.
Great defensive play there by Edwards, able to get the ball to first base in time. Really a speedy reaction there. Just what the Tigers needed, as Hofstra had some speed going down that first base line.
Sometimes in this sport, a lot of times in this sport, you play on your belly.
I was going to say, Towson has certainly taken a few dives today.
Petra Fessa, that's just outside our reach.
There was no roof.
Maybe. Strike 1. Petra Fessa 0 for 2 today, but she does have a walk and a run scored. That was in the 5-run first. We will chat with the winning coach and a highlight player in our post game. Ask Mr. Broyles to do so, I think, again for us. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Say a pitch you didn't see a lot from Dieter is that changeup, and it looks like she's really utilizing that one. I've seen it quite a few times throughout these first couple batters.
1-1. Changeup misses. And that really floated up there. Looked like it was going backwards almost.
So say that one was quite a changeup. It gave the batter plenty of time to watch it come in, when probably a little too slow.
There's always that anxiety or the anxiousness of, oh man, this is coming in fat. And usually you just get a little too much ahead of it. Swing and a miss. She brought a little bit more speed to it that time, 2 and 2. Now, a little more enticing to Petra Fessa. From Pennsauken, New Jersey, Paul VI. Ball 3, that is, beg your pardon. 3 and 2.
Last year, Smith Harrington as pitcher was CAA Rookie of the Week one time, and she led Towson with 13 wins in 22 appearances. This year, 7-4 record in 17 appearances.
Change up left high again for ball 4.
So she was really trying to use that changeup pitch throughout that at bat, and a lot of them a little just outside of the zone, too high, too far outside, unable to really get those changeups in that strike zone.
That's the 5th walk that the Pride has mustered today to go with a hit batter. And most of those that have walked, in fact, every player that has reached by way of the free pass has scored today for the Pride. There's that blink shirt. See it coming your way? Look down.
Ooh, it is shiny.
It is shiny. It's got some action to it. I wonder if it came with batteries.
Got some nice fan apparel out here.
Pitch is high and outside. 2-0. Few umbrellas out today, but they're just to protect the fans from the sunshine. Pitch high. 3-0. Weather seems forecast looks pretty good for most of it. Maybe a shower or two tomorrow. We're gonna kind of keep an eye on that one.
It wouldn't be a tournament in the Valley without at least one rain shower.
You're probably right. You're probably right. There's ball 4. So that is 6 walks.
I don't want to jinx anything, but was it about 2 years ago we had games going past midnight because the rain just, it didn't want to go away?
That walk was the 123rd in the career of Brittany Alaka, which she came into this tournament 3rd in CAA history in that category. Edwards, and that is to right field and caught on the run. Runner will tag at second and move up. We got runners at the corners. When that left the bat, I thought it was a 3-run blast.
So did I. That one, it sounded like it was going, but it didn't. It just didn't have enough on it. You can see it here. You know, even the angle, you think that's gone, but just at the warning track.
Yeah, and if it did leave the yard, ball game is over. It's the 7-2 lead. Scarpato takes the pitch high for the ball. Scarpato from Springfield, PA. Two balls and no strikes. Scarpato walked, scored a run in the first, flew out to center field in the second, and then he hit the ball back to the pitcher that resulted in 2 runs scoring on an error by Dieter, who was pitching at the time. Pitch high, ball 3. It's in for a strike. Ball 4, and the bases are loaded just as they were in the first inning.
So this is the 3rd or 4th inning. Hofstra's managed to load the bases. Towson. Smith Harrington out there really trying to rely on that changeup, but it's really not falling in the zone for her too high a lot of the time. And Hofstra looks like they're going to bring in.
Do have a change at the plate.
Designated.
That's Kimberly Wirt, freshman from Melfa, Virginia, Nandua High School. She is the young lady that was just going crazy with home runs in her very early portion of her career. I think
her
first
three collegiate hits and 5 of her first 6 were all home runs. She hit the game-winning homer in extra innings at North Florida and scored the only runs against UMass and added a long ball against Elon. So Kimberly Wirt mostly used as a pinch hitter here for the Hofstra Pride. Just her freshman campaign, but 5 home runs all in this first 6 hits, 12 RBIs, batting at a .267 on the season.
I'd say that's starting off your career with a bang, huh?
Certainly, especially in that first couple at bats there, you know, there's no other way you'd want to start off.
1 ball and 1 strike. Wirt with 5 home runs still, so it's been a while. That is high.
So I'm sure the Pride would like another one right about now.
Wirt batting at .267 with the 5 home runs, 1 double, 12 runs driven in, 24 total bases. So her slugging percentage is way up there at .800. And another ball high, 3-1. So this is one she can take a hefty cut on if it's the one that she wants.
Yeah, she'll have a pitch to give here. She can be a little picky with whether she likes it or not. She can foul it off, or if it's in the zone, you know, really send it.
She's 8 for 30, so 5 home runs and 8 hits. Just misses it. She liked that one. She got underneath it just a tad. Count is full, 3-2.
Wirt ended up going 0-2 last week in the series against the Pride.
Probably in similar circumstances. Come on off the bench, because she has not started, but she's played in 30 games. So it's not uncommon to see her come out here, and she'll draw the 4-pitch or the full count walk.
And once again, another walk, another run is brought in on a walk, something that has just hurt Towson last week in a loss and has definitely hurt them today.
So Wirt picks up her 13th.
Looks like we're going to have another pinch hitter, number 99.
And that is Alexis Goki, a sophomore from Bordentown, New Jersey, the Hun School of Princeton.
She's got 4 at-bats with 2 hits, so she's hitting at a .500, quite a small sample size
Are
there.
both of them home runs? No, they're both singles. Pitch low, ball 1. Well, this is actually an excellent time to get these freshmen into the lineup. You're leading 8-2. There's not a big risk at the moment. The pitcher is struggling.
Yeah, you want to get them some playing time in tournament play. A little more action, you know, with such heavy senior rosters. Next year, they're going to look up to these younger players to kind of step up and take over those roles and those positions, and getting them as much time as they can when they're in the lead like they are is really just a great position that Hofstra is in.
Could if they come through with something positive, can build a little confidence, feel a little good about themselves, and that may play off and pay dividends even later in the tournament if they're called upon in a much more crucial situation. 3-0. And a strike. She's batting for Paterno. Goki listed as an outfielder. She's got a tall zone too. She's 6 even. Krista Kilburn-Staveski might want to recruit her to play a post player for basketball. Ground ball, and that is just foul. Wasn't fouled by much, but we'll take a look at it again for you.
I think if this one had stayed fair, it definitely would have probably been ball game, as a couple of runs would have scored.
Yeah, particularly with 2 outs, everybody's moving. You don't have to worry about a double play ball, so you get a little extra start. And that is ball 4. Another walk issued by the Tigers pitching.
So we're just 1 run away now from a situation where Hofstra has run ruled the Tigers. Tigers need to be careful here if they want to have one more shot at the at batting.
Well, it looks like they may go to another pitcher. Let's see what they got going on here.
Bring in
Megan Paterno has gone in to run back at first base after the walk issue to Goki.
Looks like there is going to be a pitching change. Melissa Abrahamian, I said that correctly, a freshman from San Diego, California, went to Del Norte High School. She comes in, she holds a 7-1 record. She's made 22 appearances this season, has 47 walks and 56 strikeouts, batters hitting a .302 against her. Did pitch in the series last weekend, pitched a complete game that second game when Hofstra did run rule the Tigers.
So she'll try to get a final out, get her team back into the dugout for one last crack at this one. 9-2, so they are just a run away from the run rule.
Gonna send Caitlin Musa to the plate. Musa last week against Abrahamian, she was 2 for 2. She had 2 hits and 2 RBIs. She also walked twice.
She had a single the last time up to left field. First pitch takes it low, ball 1. Well, if I'm a batter up there right now, I'm making you throw a strike first of all.
Yeah, at this point in the game, you know, I'm going to wait for a pitch to be perfect for me and one that I can really know that I can hit.
That's ball 2.
Especially this umpire having really kind of selective strike zone, I'd like to say today.
Well put. 2 balls, no strikes.
Definitely to the hitter's advantage.
That's a strike. 2-1. On the way. That catches the corner, so battling back 2-2. And strike 3 called. So she does come in and get the final out of the inning. But the Hofstra Pride tacks on 2 more. They lead it 9-2. Tigers got a big hole to climb out of when we return here on CAA.TV.
Hey, salutes a lot. Thou hast the patchy beard of a prepubescent squire. Thy armour was forged by a feeble-fingered peasant woman. Your mum.
As long as hecklers love to heckle, you can count on Geico saving folks money.
Boring.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Floats it into the post to Nick Harrison.
We've all been there.
Can't even see the score. Oh my God.
Trying to watch the game on that tiny screen? It's time to watch sports the way they were meant to be watched. On this, in high definition. You can now watch all your favorite teams and players on the big screen for free. With CAA.TV, you'll never miss a moment. Take back the living room by searching CAA on your device.
Well, if you're just checking in and you think you're seeing Game 3, no, you're at the end of Game 2. It's a 9-2. Hofstra leading the Towson Tigers. We're in the top of the 7th inning, so Hofstra 3 outs away from advancing to tomorrow's winner's bracket game.
Really, you have the life if you win this game, because you have one game tomorrow and the winner of that game automatically advances. If not, you do have to play another one. But, you know, putting yourself in the winner's bracket is probably the best thing you can do, especially playing the least amount of games. And if you're Hofstra or even a JMU who have high expectations going into the postseason, you know, get a little extra rest and not play as many games.
This is Olivia Baltazar leading off for the Tigers here in the 7th.
Baltazar went 1 for 4 last week with a walk. She hits at 250, has 13 hits and 5 RBIs on the season. Mainly used as a pitcher, but does come in as a pinch hitter from time to time.
Cornell looking to finish up her 19th complete game of the season. And I would expect her to do so unless things just kind of fall apart here. 2 balls and a strike. She has worked through most innings unscathed, and this has popped up right on the edge of the infield as Transu puts it away for out number 1 here in the 7th.
Didn't really have to move too much to get that one, kind of came right to her.
Now batting the third baseman, number 21, Kaylin Minity.
Kaylin Minity 0 for 2, couple of pop-ups on the infield, 1 to each corner. Pops this up back out of play. That should clear everybody unless somebody's walking along the sidewalk outside of the stadium. Strike 1. Facility came online in 2010. Veterans Memorial Park, named in honor of those men and women from Harrisonburg and Rockingham County who served in foreign conflicts that lost their lives since World War I, so it goes back over 100 years now. And it's starting to look like a park because some of the trees are starting to get up there in their teenage years, we'll say. They're starting to mature somewhat, so for a while there, it's sort of like, you know, when you look at a housing development and everybody's got small shrubs, well, things are starting to grow up a little bit around the area. Swung on and missed by Minity. There's some nice green space behind us where kids can run around between games, throw a football, frisbee, play catch.
Certainly a nice little complex you've got going on here with baseball and softball. Nice and spacious and really just a great area.
Ball hit down the left field line, playable, and can't get to it, sliding in. Mikulowski. Count holds at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And this facility also where we're perched right here, it was the old portion of the football stadium of the old Harrisonburg High School. There you see a good look at the stadium with fans. Earlier there, you saw a good look at the stadium with fans sprinkled around, although those starting to fill in a little bit more. Pitch, whoops, that got away from her. 3-2. She still gave the grunt despite
So I haven't seen that since around the first, 2nd inning. She's really been able to keep it under control. Just a wild pitch there. She is at 93 pitches, so, you know, her arm could be getting tired, especially we are in the 7th inning.
And that's lined right back up the middle for a base knock.
It'll be Manatee's first hit of the game. She gives Towson their 5th hit as well.
It's her 44th hit this season.
Towson has been able to hit the ball throughout this game, but they're not able to string quite enough of those hits together and getting enough batters on base to be able to move them across and get them across the plate. They've really only been able to do so in the first inning when they reached on an error and was able to score.
Jacqueline Money, a sophomore out of Suffolk, Virginia. Well, it will not be a complete game for Cornell.
Going to bring in Dandola. It's a 2-team tandem here for the Hofstra Pride.
And Dandola certainly with an outstanding season as well for the Hofstra Pride. The only other player to pitch this year was Courtney Scarpato, the center fielder. She made 3 appearances in the circle, but for Dandola, this is her 31st.
Yeah, Dandola comes in with a 1.71 ERA, a 14-5 record. She's struck out 64 batters, only walked 24. Batters are hitting .215 against her. Dandola, she also earned awards this week through the CAA 5 separate times.
She'll face Riley Thies, who is 1 for 2 with a single.
Those 5 awards. She was Rookie of the Week 3 times and Pitcher of the Week twice, helping Hofstra to 6 straight weekly award honors.
I'm sure she was the candidate for Rookie of the Year from the Pride of Hofstra, and she probably was pretty close in the overall balloting. That honor went to James Madison's Peyton Burrish.
I was going to say, looking at their statistics and at the different players throughout the past couple of days, it was definitely Burrish and Dandola who I think are the top 2 for Rookie of the Year.
There's in for a called strike.
Dandola was actually named.
Hang on. Nope, that is an illegal pitch. Make it 2-0. Wait a minute, I had, okay, yeah, 2-0. And that gets away. Runner goes on down to second base. Scored that on WP, wild pitch. So another explanation.
Dandola, she was actually named a top 25 candidate for the NFCA Freshman of the Year just a few weeks back.
And ball 4.
Just her 25th walk in 30 appearances this season.
Flipping the order back, Kendall Scott. She is 1 for 3, top of the order for the Tigers. 2 on, 1 out in the top of the 7th. Strike 1 to Scott. Scott last time up, grounded out to short. She doubled off the wall to get this game started. One and one. Ground ball, this one again to short. The flip to second for 1. The relay not in time. But there are 2 away. 6-4, the put out of Thies at second base, arriving safely on a fielder's choice. Hustling down the line was Scott. So Scott's hit first, and Menete, actually the pinch runner, Mounty at third, and Wilson at the plate, the first baseman. Sox it the opposite way. This may change the score. It's off the top of the wall. 1 run will score. They're sending another runner to the plate. Here comes the throw. It's not in time. Make it a 9-4 ball game. I think Coach Costello, either she understood how fast the runner was or was taking a little bit of a risk there.
I was going to say, at this point in the ball game, you're going to have to take risks if you want anything to happen, especially starting a 2-out rally like that. Wilson, she gets her second hit of the day, both in the left field direction. She went just 1 for 8 last season, now 2 for 4 today. Add that to her double total. She's got 17. She was 29th in doubles nationally. That's going to bring up Daria Edwards.
And strike 1 to Edwards. She sends it to left field. That is deep, but it is playable and caught before it goes into the wall with it. Michalowski, she comes up with a catch, and that will end the ball game.
To say, what an appropriate way to end the ball game after such great defensive plays all game by both teams. Seems only fitting that they're able to make a great play out there in left field to end this one and give the Hofstra Pride the victory, 9-4 over the Towson Tigers.
So the 7th inning, it wraps up like this: 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and a runner left on base. Final score 9-4. We'll be back in a moment to wrap this one up here on CAA.TV.
Salute a lot! Thou hast the patchy beard of a prepubescent squire. Thy armour was forged by a feeble-fingered peasant woman. Your mum!
As long as hecklers love to heckle, you can count on Geico saving folks money.
Boring!
15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
9-4 is our final score in Game 2 of the CAA Championship Tournament. Hofstra will advance into tomorrow's first winner's bracket game at noon. And the Towson Tigers, they'll have to come back and play again at about 6:30. It's probably going to be a little later than that, as the next game is scheduled for a 4:40 start time. So we're about 40 minutes behind what the original schedule intended. Right now we do have Bobby Broyles, as he is standing down on field level. And it looks like he has come up with Nikki Michalowski to chat with here after today's win by the Pride. Bobby?
Thank you, Curt, down here with Nikki Michalowski. Nikki, you played these guys last weekend. Obviously a very patient approach by your team today at the plate. Was that the strategy coming in today?
Yeah, especially in the beginning of the game, the umpire was really tight. So last time we found out we were chasing balls, and we went back and watched film, so we were letting the game come to us this game.
Coming into this tournament, obviously be the number 2 seed. You play in Towson last week. What were some of the things maybe you learned from that series that you were able to use today?
I think we learned to play at our level and not to any other team's level, to do us and have fun like we know how and not press too much.
Talk about the importance of being in the winner's bracket, coming out here and putting an impressive win on the board.
Oh, it's huge. It gives us the chance to come out, play in the semis, and keep rolling into the winner's bracket. Our goal is to head straight to the championship after next game.
All right, Nikki, congratulations. We'll see you tomorrow. Send it back up to you, Curt.
Into the she said semifinals. That's kind of the way to put it, because this you can look at this as maybe a quarterfinal game if you stay true to the bracket. That's about what it kind of corresponds to, even though you don't typically talk about that or mention it as such in a double elimination tournament. And let's go back down to field level as we're going to talk to Coach Anderson next. Here's once again Bobby.
Thanks again, Curt. Yes, Coach, a very patient approach at the plate today by your team. Just talk a little bit about the strategy behind that.
It's all year long. Swing at good pitches, and if the ball's not there that you can handle or hit a double off of, take the pitch. And that first inning, I think we had 8 walks, and I don't even know how many we had in the course of the day. But selective aggressive. Look for a good pitch that you can handle and be on time for that.
What was some of the strategy coming into this game, especially playing this team this past weekend?
Yeah, absolutely, and we've seen her quite a bit, and understanding what she can throw for a strike and what she tries to get you to chase, and being able to have that approach in the batter's box, and I think our hitters did an unbelievable job with it.
Sarah Cornell, obviously a very strong performance in the circle today. Talk about her performance a little bit.
She worked both sides of the plate, and that's what she has to do in order to be successful. She can't live on one side. The teams in this conference are too good, and she was able to work both sides of the plate. Her off-speed was very effective today, which we needed, obviously, because Towson has some very good hitters.
Coach, obviously the importance of being in the winner's bracket, moving on to tomorrow as you guys progress into this tournament. First of all, the importance of coming out here, getting a win, and then going into tomorrow, what will the strategy be?
This win's huge because we don't want to come back and play later on tonight. We want to play one game a day. So we really want to focus. We focus on this one game, and then we got to focus on who we have tomorrow. But it's huge. It really is, and it keeps the momentum on our side. It keeps our pitch count down, so we're not really going deep into our bullpen.
All right, Coach, we'll go enjoy this win. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, back up to you, Curt.
Thank you very much, Bobby, and let's wrap this one up. Bri, your general comments about this ball game.
Offense-heavy game today, and Hofstra came out on top with this one, had their bats going, really had everything going, and like they said, they did wait. They got quite a few walks and was able to take advantage of that, and pretty much on every angle as well, getting on base however they can and really getting those runs across the plate.
Yeah, 10 walks issued by the Towson Tiger pitching staff today. The Tigers 4 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors, and leaving 5 on base for the Pride. 9 runs, 5 hits, no errors, and leaving 8 stranded. Winning pitcher was Cornell. She's 23-7. Dieter takes the loss. She's 22-7. No save in this one. And today's contest took 2:09 to play. Towson 40-16 in the losers bracket, and they will play later this evening against the Seahawks of UNCW. That is our 4th and final game of the day. Hofstra moves into tomorrow's noon game and awaits the winner of this next game between James Madison and the College of Charleston. So that'll do it for game number 2 of the 2018 CAA Softball Championship Tournament. We're going to take about a 30-minute break, and we'll be back with game number 3, top-seeded James Madison and 5th-seeded College of Charleston. That's coming up for game 3. But until then, I'm Curt Dudley for Bri Leach and all of us here at CAA.TV.